Hey guys, welcome to or welcome back to my channel. I'm Kendall Ty, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how I make my crochet bucket hats. So starting off with supplies, today I'm going to be using Red Heart Yarn Super Saver Stripes. This is in the color Polo Stripe, and this is a size medium weight for yarn. I'm going to be using a 4.5mm hook, and you're going to need some scissors at the end of the project. So to make this bucket hat, we're going to start with the magic circle, and the way I like to do mine is I grab the tail of the yarn with my thumb and index finger. It doesn't have to be too long, and then I'm going to wrap it around my index and middle finger, and as I'm going back over, I'm going to cross it to make an X. Then I'm just going to hold that in place with my pinky and my ring finger. Next, I'm going to take my hook, and with it facing down, I'm going to go under the first string and then over the string on the left, and as I pull it through, I'm going to turn my hook upwards. Next, I'm just going to chain 2. 1, 2. So this is how you start the magic circle, and for the first row of this hat, we're going to do 10 double crochets into the magic circle. And the way you do a double crochet is you're going to yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2. One more time, yarn over, insert, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over and pull through 2. So we just did 2 double crochet, we're going to do 8 more. So once you finish your 10th double crochet, you're going to go ahead and pull the tail. You just created your first row. So now we're going to go ahead and close it. And to do that, we're going to do a slip stitch into the second chain from the chain 2 that we did at the beginning. So this is the first chain. This is the second one. I'm going to insert my hook into these 2 loops. It might be a little tough to get your hook through, so just take your time. So once you have both loops on the hook, you're going to yarn over, pull through, and then pull through again. Moving on to the second row, you're going to chain 2 again, and this time you can make that second chain a little bit looser just so that it's easier to close once you get back to it. And at this point, instead of going right into this double crochet, I'm going to show you guys what I do differently so that there are no holes in the seam of the hat. So for example, this is a green bucket hat that I made before, and this is the seam. And what I've learned since making these hats is that sometimes whenever I chain 2 and then go right into the next double crochet, there used to be holes. But with this method, I was able to kind of eliminate that so that it's a bit more seamless. So for the beginning of the second row, like I said before, we're not going to go into this double crochet. I'm going to yarn over, and I'm going to do a double crochet into this stitch right here. This is the stitch that is in line with the chain 2 that you just made. And then I'm going to yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So next I'm going to do 2 double crochet into every stitch until I get back to the beginning. Now that I'm at the end of the row, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing that I did in the beginning. And I'm going to insert a double crochet into this stitch where you can see my fingernail. So now if you go through and count how many stitches you should have 20 main stitches and then these 2 extra stitches that are going to be a part of the seam. To close the row, we're going to do the same thing that we did the first time. You're going to find that second chain from the beginning. You're going to insert your hook into both loops, yarn over, pull through, and then pull through again. So we did just add these 2 stitches, but don't be alarmed because although it's going to increase the number of stitches in total, it's not going to have a huge effect on the size of the hat. Continuing on to row 3, we're going to go ahead and chain 2 like just before. Remember to make that second chain a little loose so it's easier for you to finish the row. You're going to yarn over, and this time we're going to insert the hook into where my fingernail is just like before. It should be in line with the chain 2. So insert your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And instead of completing the stitch, we're going to yarn over again, and we're going to insert our hook into that previous double crochet from the last row. Yarn over again, pull through 2, and then you're going to yarn over and pull through all 3. So the reason I like to do it this way is because it eliminates the space in between the chain 2 and the double crochet, but it doesn't increase the number of stitches every single row. And for the third row, we're going to do a pattern of 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet in this stitch, all the way till we get to this last set of 2 double crochet. 1, 2, and then the third stitch is going to be in that same 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to continue this pattern all the way around. So I just did my last 2 double crochet into this same stitch right here. And now we're back at that single double crochet from the last row. I'm basically going to do the same thing that I did at the beginning of this row. Yarn over, insert your hook into that double crochet, yarn over and pull up, yarn over, pull through 2. And instead of finishing the double crochet right here, I'm going to yarn over again. And I'm going to insert my hook into this space where my nail is. So insert your hook, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through all 3. And to close the row, I'm going to insert my hook into the 2 loops from the previous chain 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then pull through 1. Like I said before, this is just how I like to do my seams so that there aren't any obvious holes, but if you're having problems with it or if you're a little bit confused, just let me know down in the comments. Moving on to row 4, we're going to go ahead and chain 2, yarn over. And at this point, it might be a little hard to figure out where you're going to insert your hook, but it's going to be right where you just did that previous slip stitch, right here where my nail is. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and we're going to insert into this decrease stitch from the previous row. Insert right here, yarn over, pull up, pull through 2, and then pull through 3. Basically what you're doing is that you're adding an additional stitch to fill in the space, but by combining them at the end is not going to increase the stitch count. Moving on to the rest of row 4, I'm going to do a double crochet into the first one, a double crochet into the second one, and then I'm going to do 2 double crochet into this stitch right here. If you're counting, it should be 1, 2, and then stitches 3 and 4 should be into the same one. 3, 4. So as you're going through making the top of this hat, the number row that you're on is going to let you know how many stitches are in each grouping. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. And then for the third row, we had 1, 2, 3. And then for the second row, it was just 1, 2. And then the last 2 stitches of each grouping are going to be into the same double crochet from the previous row. So one more time, 1, 2, 3, and number 4 is going to go into that same stitch. And if you ever feel yourself start to lose count, what I like to do is just use the previous row to let me know where I am. So whenever I see 2 double crochet in the same stitch on the previous row, I know that in that left stitch, I'm going to do 2 double crochet. I just finished my last 2 double crochet into the same stitch. And at this point, you should have 40 main double crochet all the way around, and that's not including the seam. Yarn over, insert your hook into this decrease stitch, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and you're going to insert your hook into this space where my nail is, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3, and then we're going to close the row. For row 5, we're going to do the same thing, chain 2, yarn over, insert your hook into where that previous slip stitch was. It might be hard to get your hook into this small space, so that's why it's important that you make your chain 2 loose, but you don't want it to be too loose, but just loose enough so that it's easier when you get to the end of the row. Yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert into that previous decrease stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. Now we're done with the seam. Since we're on the 5th row, there are going to be 5 stitches in each group, and the last 2 stitches, number 4 and 5, are going to be in this left stitch from the previous row. 1, 2, 3, 4, and in that same stitch, you're going to do number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm at the end of row 5 and I have a total of 50 stitches all the way around, not including the seam. I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook into that decrease stitch, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert into the space where my nail is. And if you don't know exactly where that space is, it's in between the chain 2 and the previous decrease from the last row. I'm going to insert my hook, yarn over and pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. Then I'm going to close off my row with a slip stitch, insert your hook into the 2 loops from the chain 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then pull through 1. On to row 6, you're going to chain 2 and remember to keep that second chain a little loose. Yarn over, insert into the space where the slip stitch was, yarn over and pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert into the decrease stitch from the previous row, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. Now it's time to move on to the main stitches of the row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and stitch number 6 is going to be in that same one. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I just finished my last 2 stitches, and now for the seam, we're going to yarn over, insert into that decrease stitch from the previous row, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert into the space in between the decrease stitch and the chain 2, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. And I'm going to close off the row with a slip stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 1. Now moving on to the 7th and final row of the crown of this hat, chain 2, yarn over, insert your hook into the space where that last slip stitch was, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert your hook into that decrease stitch, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. Now for the main stitches, we're going to be working all the way up to 70. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and stitch number 6 and 7 are going to be into the same 1, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I just finished stitch number 70, not including this one from the seam. I'm going to go ahead and finish off this row. Yarn over, insert your hook into that decrease stitch, yarn over and pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert your hook into the space in between the chain 2 and the decrease stitch, yarn over and pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3, and then close off the row with the slip stitch. So we just finished the top of the hat, which is also known as the crown. I don't know how I forgot to mention it, but normally I would crochet over this tail in the second row. I guess it just slipped my mind, so this time I'm just gonna have to sew it in at the end of the project, but that's okay. So the number of rows that you do for the crown of the hat is gonna determine the size. Normally 7 is a good amount for me and it fits a lot of people's heads, but if you're making it for someone smaller or for someone with a larger head, then you can go up to 8, or maybe you can go down to 5, whatever you need to do. But I just wanna mention that if you go up to an 8th row and you find that 80 stitches around is too much, what you can do is bring it back down to 75. And how you would do that is that you would increase every 15th stitch. So you would do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You wouldn't increase right here. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15 you would do into that same stitch. And then if you do that all the way around, you would end up with 75 stitches. So that's how you can kind of make hats in between sizes, and that's how you can play with the sizing. Now that we're done with the top of the hat, we're going to go ahead and move on to the body of the hat. For the body, you're just going to do 9 rows with no increases. As you're making the hat, you can try it on to see if that's enough rows or if you need more or less. You're going to continue to do the same thing that we've been doing for the seam. So if you need to go back, feel free to do so if you need a refresher on how to do that. I'm going to go ahead and work up the rest of this hat, and I'll see you guys once it's time to make the brim. So I just finished my 9th row with no increases, and this is how the hat is looking right now. Here's a closer look at the seam, and you can still see where it's at, but in my opinion, this method just provides a cleaner look. So now moving on to the brim for the bucket hat is going to be 3 rows, and for the pattern of increases, we're going to start with 2 double crochet increase, 3 double crochet increase, and then 4 double crochet increase. So I'm going to go ahead and chain 2, yarn over, insert into that space where the last slip stitch was, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert into the last decrease from the previous row, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through all 3, and then we're going to start with a group of 4. 1, 2, and then now for the increase, 3 and 4 are going to go into that same stitch. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. So for the brim of this hat, you're going to end with 1 singular double crochet at the end of the row. Now I'm going to go ahead and finish off with the seam, yarn over, insert into that decrease stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert into the space in between the decrease stitch and the chain 2, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. And we're going to close the row with a slip stitch. Now moving on to the next row of the brim, we're going to do the exact same thing. Chain 2, yarn over, insert into the space where the slip stitch was, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert into the decrease stitch from the last row, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, then yarn over and pull through all 3. And this time, instead of groups of 4, we're going to do groups of 5. So 1, 2, 3, and the 4th and 5th double crochet are going to be in the same stitch. 4, 5. And you're going to do that all the way until you get to the end of the row. So now we've made it to the last row of the hat, and we're going to go ahead and do the same thing, but this time in a group of 6. One, 2, 3, 4, and double crochets 5 and 6 are going to go in the same stitch. 5, 6. So now that we're at the end of the last row of the brim, we're going to go ahead and close it with the slip stitch. And then I'm going to do a chain 1. Now you're going to get your scissors and go ahead and cut the yarn. And then you can go ahead and pull that through and then tighten it. And then I'm just going to use my hook to sew in the end. To sew in the end of the hat, I kind of just weave it through the seam and then I feed it through one of the rows. All right, so we're all done, and now you have yourself a really nice crochet bucket hat. I really love this project because it doesn't take too long to make and it's really customizable. You can alter the size of it just by changing how many rows you do at the top. You can change the length of the brim by adding more rows, and you can change how flowy it is by placing your increases closer together or further apart. You can make this hat in a bunch of different colors. You can experiment with things like stripes or even scrap yarn bucket hats like the ones I made in one of my recent videos. And yeah, so that's going to be it for today's tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions or or need any clarification, let me know down in the comments below. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. And if you would like to purchase anything, the Etsy link is in the bio, or you can message me through there, Instagram, TikTok, or on here. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.